Hello, everyone. Jim Biringer here, Full Press NHL. Please smash that notify button, hit that bell, like this video. We're back again talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're Maple Leafs heavy here on the channel, but a lot of news coming out of Toronto. Brendan Shanahan is out as the president of hockey operations, MLSE. President CEO Keith Pelley said that his contract will not be renewed. Not surprising considering that the Islanders, whom have interest in Brendan Shanahan for their president of hockey ops role, was asked and they were granted permission from Toronto to speak to Brendan Shanahan. Now, as we've documented with myself and Ryan Payton, it's just the same old story with the Toronto Maple Leafs, written up on Full Press Hockey and Full Press Media up on the Substack. Please subscribe to that as well. However, you look at it and the Maple Leafs, Game 7, not very good. No showed again. Top guys can't get it done when it matters. Seems like the spotlight for them. They feel the pressure. But again, it's not media driven. It's mentally driven. And change had to happen. It had to happen a long time ago. Should have happened in 2021 when they lost to the Montreal Canadiens up 3-1. When you had the Canadian division, you won the division. Everything was set up to go to the conference final. Didn't happen. They just can't get it done. They can't handle the pressure. They don't like the pressure. And when push comes to shove, they just can't get it done there. And Brendan Shanahan was a part of it, right? Yes, he brought consistency to the team. Yes, he brought, stability. Yes, he brought Lou Lamoriello in. Yes, they've been a consistent playoff team, but they've won 2 playoff series. And they've ran it back every single time. Now, the first 2 years, okay, you can excuse it. First 2 years, the Matthews year, they get in, play Washington, losing 6 games. That's fine. The next year you lose to Boston down 3-1, come back, force Game 7, then you lose. Okay, 2019, probably should have closed out the Bruins, didn't get it done. 2020, you lose to Columbus in the play-in round or the qualifier, whatever they want to call it. Probably should have made some changes then, didn't do it. 2021 should have happened. No, we run it back. Lose to Tampa the following year, up 3-2 in the series, but it was the same thing. Learning lessons. We've learned. We're ready for next year. It's going to be different next year. But you heard the same thing for 9 years. And then they were a better team against Boston, and they no-showed in games 3 and 4. This team loves playing on the road. For some reason, they just can't get it done on home ice. Again, they fall short against the Florida Panthers. They make the aesthetic changes. They add to the defense. They get the goaltending. But it's the 4 guys, Nylander, John Tavares, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner. Willie Nylander did his job, but from games 4 through 7, wasn't there. You can have Morgan Riley in there as the Fab Five. But Brendan Shanahan continued to believe in this group that they had the instincts to get it done, make the general manager changes. You go from Lamoriello to Kyle Dubas to Brad Treliving, whom will stay on as the GM under the new president of hockey operations, which they are not in a rush to get to yet. However, you look at it, and they should have been making changes. They shouldn't have allowed Marner to get what he wanted. They shouldn't have allowed Nylander to get what he wants. Same with Matthews. Then the biggest thing to me is the John Tavares contract. As much as he's played well for this team, and he did get him out of the first round of the playoffs in 2023 for the first time since 2004, you cannot sign that guy to an $11 million contract at that time. It really did the Maple Leafs in. Now he's a free agent, and that locker room needs a new voice. There needs to be more emotion with that team. They need a Nathan McKinnon type voice in there. They need Matthews to really, it's enough with the learning lessons. We're learning too many passengers. Don't sound robotic and don't sound unauthentic, because people can see right through it, like they do in WWE with the promos, because the fans, right? Like, don't be unauthentic. We love the emotion, like Nathan McKinnon, haven't won stuff after 9 years. Connor McDavid, very, he's like Michael Jordan right now. He's like, I'm doing everything I asked my teammates to do. You don't hear that from the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Morgan Riley said it last year, we're not even close. And they think they're close, but they're not close. And, Brendan Shanahan said, we believe in this group. We're right there. You can get over the hump. They just couldn't do it. And the fact that they kept running it back, tells me, what did he deserve to get another job with the Islanders? Did he deserve anything? I don't think so. But that's one man's opinion. But now they have the right to make the changes necessary. It's not by choice. It's forced upon them. It's brought to them. John Tavares, free agent. Again, that contract, that 7-year, $11 million contract, especially with the flat cap, could have got the upgrading goaltending you needed a long time ago, upgraded the defense a long time ago. They didn't need to spend the money there. Similar to what the Erik Karlsson thing is with Kyle Dubas in Pittsburgh, just hamstrings the team. It doesn't make sense. It never made sense. That contract really did in Toronto Maple Leafs. But then, Willie gets his deal. Matthews gets his deal. He's the captain. Mitch is up. Mitch is probably going to walk. That's okay because you need the end of an era to this. You need to get the right pieces in place in that top six. Keep Matthew Knies. Needs to keep him. And as Ryan Payton will say, it's time. Can't do it anymore. Can't keep it together. We both believed a couple episodes ago that you keep everybody together because it's winning. You know what it is. You know what you're going to get. Not anymore. Break them up. Get it over with. This is what Ryan had to say last time he was on.
I want to go back to the Mitch Marner play last night that I did say was disgusting. It was disgusting. And again, you can put in whatever word you want, but it was something that you just don't do. You're taught that, JB. And again, you've been playing a long time. You're taught that in Pee Wee. You're taught that you don't do a pirouette on the near boards. If you're watching on TV, you see it on the bottom part. You don't do a pirouette, then you do a backhand pass into the neutral zone without looking. You just don't do that. Here's my question to you. What was worse of that play? Part A, which was that, or Part B, which was the finish by the Panthers and Marner trying to get back to get to his player who ended up scoring the goal. If you watch that part of it, forget about the first part of the play. If you watch the goal itself, you're lunging with one hand on your stick. This is the NHL. If you have to take a penalty, take a penalty. If you have to upend the guy and put him through the net, you do that because that goal was as good as in the moment the Panthers took possession in the neutral zone. So that to me is more of the gaff in all this. And we've seen him do this time and time and time again. I'm telling you, because of that play, he is not going to be a Toronto Maple Leaf next year. He's not going to be one.
As you hear, it's no longer about keeping everybody together. It's about doing what's right. And what's right is moving on, starting fresh, and getting the right guys in there to succeed. John Tavares, see ya. And everything has to be on the table if you're a general manager. Everything. And they should have done this a long time ago. They chose not to. And now they're paying a price. But you know what? If you bring in the right guys, sacrifice some points, and do what's right in the playoffs, you're going to be successful. Yes, they took a step. Yes, they went to Game 7 against the champs, but it didn't feel like they took a step because the same result on home ice continues to happen when you get blown out in Games 5 and 7, and you don't even look competitive, and there's no heart and effort, and you just gave up. Toronto, finally going to see change. End of an era is here. Brendan Shanahan's the start. Mitch Marner and John Tavares will probably be next. There is no reason to bring both those guys back. Go find help elsewhere on the free agent market. Jim Biringer, Full Press NHL. Again, smash the notify button, hit that bell, like the video. We'll be back again real soon for another podcast, more rumor videos, and some quick takes along with the Stanley Cup playoffs. Take care and enjoy.